right, it's Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. I'm still trying to figure out what we're saving all the daylight time for because we're not going to use it this winter. 5 p.m. on the West Coast, which represents both of the time zones that all four of us are in. Not, 2 in one and 2 in the other. So welcome, adventurers. I'm your guide, Sean McZoo, and this is the Reptile Show Reporter. I apologize for last week. I was without power. That is least to say. There was a huge storm. We had no power for 4 days, almost 4 full days. This is why. Let me show you. See if I can show the video of why. Let's see here. This is what it looked like. This is what a truck looked like just down the street from me. You can see the whole top of the truck is crushed in. I just hope the guy wasn't in it. I hope it was just sitting out there. This is an example of some of the logs that were cut down, and Abby has not been shrunken to make them look big. She is actually that size. And I mean, of course, there's a little optical illusion, but you can see how big those are, 8, 10, 12, even more oak type trees that are, oak and all kinds of other trees were dropped down. Yeah, I don't know exactly what those. Come on, Tom, tell us what type trees those are.
Look like red oak.
Red oak. Okay, that's okay. So I am oak. I am right on oak. I was like getting a little worried about it because I got the tree guy here today, and this is what that is a second story window on the top of that house. So you get an example of what that was. That's the same section of sidewalk on another spot. Just down the street. Look how tall those branches are. That was all done by the utility companies to be able. They had to cut all that down just to get to the line to be able to fix it. So there were 5 tornadoes noted that touched down in and around the area of my house, which was in Cleveland on the west side. 5 tornadoes. Why can't I get this to hide? I don't know. All right, let's get it. I can't get it to hide. I'm stuck. All right. All right. Let's see. I cannot get this to hide. Let's try something different. I'm not going to end the stream. That would be bad. Everybody.
Bill and I can,
so they can be seen.
Let us out of the box.
Hey, Bill.
I'm trapped. James,
I see you over there.
What you doing, man?
Oh, just hanging out, buddy. How about you?
Hey, I'm having a great time.
I got to turn off this AI. It wants to follow me the other way.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Hi, Liza-Ann. Hi, Mikey.
Liza-Ann's here. Oh, there we go. Much better. Sean left.
Yeah, now I don't have to move as far.
Sean's gone.
Oh, well, we lost Sean. There's always going to be some collateral damage when the tornado hit.
Don't believe any of this. I didn't.
Get this log off my arm, Sean.
Yeah.
Oh.
I only lived 40 minutes from Sean. There was no power outages here.
Yeah, I mean, when you start going, those 4 tornadoes. No, 5 tornadoes.
Yeah.
They were big, huge.
Yeah. And that's what we're arguing about. Like here, it's like, did you have a tornado or not?
Am I good? Are we good?
Wow, all of this moving around, I'm getting nauseous.
All right, am I good? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right, we didn't even do the music, so let's do that. If I can find it, it's left. Oh wow, I got to go back and get it. Here we go. We'll do the dance. Boy. We'll do the music. We got to do the music because that's the way the show starts. So we didn't start the show correctly, and I've been delinquent because I was off for a week, and there we go. We are going so slow. I don't even know if we're going to get it. So I don't know when it comes back, and everyone can still hear me as I'm talking. There we go. All right. right, we're done with that. We're done with visuals and everything else. I don't think I may not be able to do everybody's picture because I'm afraid that I'm going to get stuck on pictures. So I'm going to just say hello to everybody. Hi, Mikey Ben. Hi, Nate. Hi, Liza. Mikey, Two Turtle Tom is back in the chat. He's right there in front of me.
Everywhere.
Tom.
All right. All these people and all that they're doing. All right. James Cross is in the dark over there on the west coast. I don't know what's going on. I was starting to watch the DIY Chameleon guys and their lay bin. I only got 5 or 6 minutes into it because I had so much to do today. But it's a cool idea. I'm gonna watch the rest of it. I hope for the rest of the week. I have a generator, but I have a generator. The generator it didn't even have the oil put in it yet. So
Oops.
And most of the Home Depots around me and the Lowe's were without power, so I couldn't even go to get the oil or whatever place. So I did get oil, and I get it. I'm working every day because my office has power and not me. Even though the lights on the way to all the lights on the way to my office have power. So I got the oil. And remarkably, I had a cord, 100 or 200 foot cord in the back of my house that had been out all winter. That still worked, and I was able to plug in the fridge or the deep freeze. So I didn't lose any food. So, anyways, that's not the topic for today. It's just me making excuses. All right, tonight we are discussing what advanced reptile keepers do. As usual, Bill Strand, the headmaster of the Chameleon Academy, is my co-host in the, the upper left-hand box.
Sure.
And Tom Arbor, Two Turtle Tom, in the lower left-hand box. And last but not least is the DIY Chameleon guy, James Cross, in the lower right. I'm the guy, the good-looking guy in the upper right. Oh, yeah, I know. You don't see anybody there. There isn't a good-looking guy there. I know. Okay. So, all right. So, what do you guys think? What represents? What are the things that a good quality, high quality, advanced keeper does all the time?
Generally speaking, gatekeep to make sure we keep a population low.
Wow.
All the Parsons are mine.
There we go.
They are not a starter chameleon. You can't start with Parsons, okay?
All right. So I've enjoyed this show. Tom, have you enjoyed it as
boy.
well?
All right. Woo! See you guys next week.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I guess we're going to.
But I mean, that's pseudo expert keeping, right?
That's pseudo experts. Yes, that's so to
Yeah,
say.
Okay. That's people who've been around long enough that they can start building walls and such. If we're get to how I define advanced keepers, I define advanced keepers as those who can help other people get to the point where they can help other people, and that's my definition of an advanced keeper.
Bill, we're not defining advanced keeper. We're saying what do good advanced keepers do that others don't, or that others don't do very well. Or
they help others.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
We talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about this. We were reviewing them. We need a new definition. We need a new topic. We were talking about it as we left the show.
What do you mean?
Bill comes in like a tornado that stopped by my house. Holy mackerel, my lights just went off my reptiles and turned off because they're supposed to turn off. And I'm like, oh no, we lost power again. I'm getting a little what do you call it? I don't know if it's really PTSD, but there you go. It's losing power. It's a shocking
power
thing.
Paranoia.
Power paranoia. That would be the power of paranoia. But power paranoia, I think that's a good answer. Okay.
So are we thinking about how do you know when you've achieved an advanced level?
Well, let's go to Tom Bill, you've had enough time talking today. So far. Let's go to
Tom.
Wow. Because you just keep getting us lost and going back to old topics. Tom came up with this topic.
Yes, it was my topic.
Why don't we define? Why don't you let you define? Oh, there you got notes and everything.
I even brought notes.
Tom was already ready last week.
No,
I'm
I didn't know we had
prepared.
to study for this.
Come on. All right, let's go, Tom.
First on my list, they keep detailed records. What do you think?
Detailed records.
Yes. And so, what do I mean by that? You actually are tracking, when do you receive an animal? How much does that animal weigh over time? You're tracking its diet. Essentially you're collecting data that can be useful to advance husbandry. Speechless.
It got quiet.
Speechless.
You know what? I'll tell you how I keep all of my data. I have a calendar, and when I actually do something, I just write what I did on the calendar. That is about as detailed as I am. But I can always go back and look at my calendar, and it tells me when I fed somebody, what they ate, what they weighed. But I don't know that I sit down and actually write a memoir on it.
I don't think that's what he said, but
those
Californians are coming in strong today, Tom. We need to counter this whole thing. California, they're too warm out there. Their brains are cooking.
We're getting druggy over here.
Records. I don't know. Mikey Ben says, does Excel sheets count? Yes, absolutely. Do you have a spreadsheet that tracks all your animals? Do you know how old your animals are?
All right, I think he's Blue's Cluesing you there. But,
no. And so one of the things that a nonprofit in the turtle keeping side has done, the Turtle Room, you may have heard of that organization. They actually have an online database that you can use. It's called the Digital Colonian Log, and you can keep records about all of your collection and weight records. Tortoises, you don't know when they get sick. You don't know if they're sick. And so by keeping detailed weight, that's really important because an animal might stop gaining weight, and that's how you know it's sick. Or it might start losing weight. So what it eats. What are you feeding your animal? When you come and say, hey, my animal's sick, I feed it crickets and mealworms. Well, how much? How often? Have you only fed it crickets? And so that's why I stress data for turtle and tortoise keeping. Weigh your animal, get out your temperatures, monitor your relative humidities, and write that stuff down so you can track it and you're not actually guessing it.
So I do the same thing. I actually track things in multiple locations. I have a calendar on my phone called Reptiles, and every big thing that happens, I put, people lay eggs or even when the power went out, I put a note in there for the days the power was out. I also have an application called Reptile Scan, which I use and put all my reptiles in. It's a little cumbersome because it's both a handheld and and there's only certain things you can do on the app on the phone, but you have to use your computer. But I really do like it. I just haven't taken the time to do it all. And I have gone through a bunch of different apps doing all this stuff. You just forget stuff. I mean, you have so many. I have so many creatures. When the power went out, holy mackerel, did I have a nightmare of things to do to kind of. I figured out that my generator would not run the lights in the basement because it had a GFI on it, which James, you know what a GFI is, right?
Oh, I do. Ground fault interrupter.
Yep. And so I have, and it blew the first time I plugged one of my set of lights in. I'm like, holy mackerel, what the heck's going on? But it did. I was able to light the area. I was able to run the misters. I was able to do everything else with the generator, but I just couldn't do as much as I want. I thought it was a really big commercial generator. It's I don't know how many whatever cc's or whatever, but it it had 2 plugs on it and a foreign area. It had a 220 line and 2 GFI plugs on it with 2 plugs each. So it had a whole lot, but I blew the fuse a couple times doing things. So I was just mostly I wanted to keep my frozen stuff frozen.
You know,
And that was really, if it was the middle of winter, it would have been great. But anyway,
just knowing how much power do you need to power your reptile room. I could add it up.
Well, I found out the hard way.
I got a 15,000 kilowatt generator, and it will not power my house. I can keep a few things running. Reptile room will go. Won't take care of both refrigerators. Can definitely not. And that's 15,000 kilowatts. Usually what you can buy at a store is only about an 8,900 kilowatt. And that's good enough for like your major appliances or your important stuff, but it won't run your house. You really need to get one of those house generators. They sell them at Home Depot.
They're about $6,000.
Yeah, about 6 to 10 grand installed. I'm thinking about getting one. Our power goes out literally. It went out twice this week already. Sometimes it's only for 10 minutes. Sometimes it's for 4 or 5 hours. PG&E just loves turning our power off.
Well, I'm looking at the generator. I have a copy of it. It's 6,000 watts, 6,250 watts.
Yeah,
so,
that could run your bathroom.
It did. It ran my bathroom. It ran my freezer. It ran a couple actually fridges and
do not let the wife curl her hair. Okay.
It ran like no, but it's a dual fuel thing. It does gas and propane.
So you got a champion, right? Is it called a champion?
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
But
they're one of the only
champion. Yes.
Yeah, they're the only one that does the dual fuel. That's what I have too.
Yeah. But no,
I like that because I can hook right up to my big giant propane tank and run it off the propane tank.
All right. So,
but I'll add this talk. Another thing, you're prepared for disasters. You have a plan for when things go wrong.
Well, actually, I had enough power to power the misters, and I have mister things. And when I didn't have the generator up, I could mist all the cages. I had food enough. I had lights that would run differently, so I would just light the room a little bit. I had a lot of stuff that was prepared. So there we go.
Very good.
I had food that would replace the food that went bad. The what do you call it? The gecko food in the fridge that went bad because it got warm. So there you go. Okay.
Sometimes you gotta laugh, Eliza Ann.
Well, that's because James is using like industrial, not just industrial, but super high-powered industrial stuff. It's like, something you'd expect to see, on a space program or something. But I don't know. But out there in California, there's a lot of those out there. But I don't think he's buying any of those. But well, I don't know what he's up to. We every week we learn more about him and what he's been doing and what he's up to and how he, he's just like my dad. My dad built a bunk bed with 2x6s and 2x8s and 4x4s.
Yeah.
And they build them with 1/4 inches and 1x4s or whatever. He built it like you could put an elephant on it and it still wouldn't add any problem.
Yep.
So
The first
that's what James
playpen was three levels. I have triplets. I made it 3 levels and it was built out of 2x8s and 4x4s. My wife thought I was nuts when I dragged it in the house, and 2 months later we had to go buy one of those fancy ones. She didn't like my woodwork on that one.
Oh well, not much you could do. All right, so Bill or Tom? No, I'm Tom, I guess.
Yeah,
Bill,
still on probation.
You almost got a chance, Bill.
Comment on what Tom has to say. Do you agree with Bill? Tom's 2 first points that you keep track of things and that you're prepared for emergencies? Are those good things? Would you consider that good reptile care? All right. Number 3 there, Tom.
Well, I'll go back to what Bill said at first, and I have build community. Eliza also asked, what do I track? And so for tortoise, especially if it's having problems, I'm tracking everything I feed it and its weight. and then how often I'm bathing that tortoise, because soaks are very important, whether I'm adding any electrolytes into that soak, just general observations about a tortoise's behavior. A female, for example, will start to flip when she's wants to lay eggs. So she'll literally try to get out of the enclosure, and she'll flip herself, documenting all that stuff. But yeah, as far as community goes, helping other people, sharing your knowledge, being generous with your data that you've collected and your knowledge and your information. And I think that's what Bill is all about. That is his life, really.
Yeah.
Right.
And really that's the only thing that sticks around. You can have somebody who is an absolute expert and can breed everything, but if that person doesn't share that knowledge and it dies with them, okay, fine.
Yeah.
You built a monument to yourself in your lifetime, and as soon as you go away, it goes away, and everybody forgets you.
Your own legend.
Wow. Bill's not on the positive side today.
Well, I mean, let's take a look at that. There was a guy named Bert Langer Wolf, you know, right? And I mean, I don't know his story, but he worked with Australian water dragons, and he was like the only guy that did Australian water dragons, and it's taken like 25 years for anybody to start working with Australian water dragons again. I'm not blaming him, but it just shows you, if you don't build that community, the entire species that you've dedicated your life to can be lost to the hobby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, let's step back and say, what does it matter? I mean, okay. I guess we don't need to get all philosophical on this, but
Bill, stop it.
Even
Come on,
James is
man.
getting into the thing. Bill needs a little bit of sunshine. I don't know what's going on. He needs a little
He's
positivity.
always the cult of personality. And today, what? Someone step on your big toe?
no,
I think
it's
worse than that.
You know,
Someone
the
must have
king
killed
of
this puppy
positivity
dog
is
or
over there
something.
being melancholy.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Wow.
I'm saying that because, I mean, what does it matter? So why hoard it for your own glory? Because, I mean, what kind of glory are you really getting out of this? Okay, if you invent the iPhone, okay, maybe there's a little bit of glory. But if you're like the master of some obscure species, why not build a community? I mean, there's nothing. All right.
He finally saw that sent him some chocolate and some vibes. Oh, I don't know.
Because,
Wow.
I look at what I do, and everything that I do, I measure my success by how successful the people are who listen to me
around you.
And that's the only monument that means anything.
So the three of us who've been down your path and followed you is what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's 3 or 4 people.
We're the followers of you, but we're really worried about you today, because we're worried that we've gotten into a cult, that the cult leader's going to ask us to off ourselves so we could go up to the little spaceship on Mars.
Wait a minute. No, I'm not going down there.
Yes, hello, Yvette. Yeah, could you remove all the guns from the Thanks.
What the heck?
Bill's just sad that handheld GPS and car GPS died.
Oh boy, you want to get into that? Okay, there's some baggage
Jesus,
there.
Tom, push him off the
my
cliff, would ya?
You
We're
just
supposed to be talking about what makes a quality reptile keeper.
And let's all remember to not let Tom be on the suicide hotline.
Wow.
Oh boy,
My
Tom,
goodness.
opened up a can of worms. Nobody else knows what you're talking about.
I know, but we've hinted at it. But bottom line,
I know what he's talking about, Bill.
when you do something for a long time and put effort into it. And the same, I worked on an application that was just deprecated by the state of Ohio. They put $1 million into it, and it's done. It's dead. Nobody's ever going to use it again, right? And so, I look at Hinchback tortoises and think I can spread the love and have Hinchback tortoises.
Getting contagious here.
Be my thing. So,
I'm gonna mute everybody who's not talking about positive stuff.
We're talking about middle age and making your mark, right? As a reptile keeper.
Positivity. What are you doing? Where are we going? People won't want to watch.
Yeah, let's take it to the people. Helping people. That is the whole reason I got into this. Building awesome cages, making really killer environments, and spreading as much information and love as I possibly can.
Well, I'll tell you a sign of an advanced keeper. They start thinking about things like this.
Exactly.
They start thinking about, why are we doing this? And how can this be positive for the community, for the reptiles, for the environment? And we start wrestling with these kind of issues. And especially those of us who have are on, well, I guess we're influencers, we're on social media and such. We have a responsibility for something, because we affect how other people think and their perspective. And so we start running into thinking about these things. It's important. So there's a sign of an advanced
Wait
keeper.
a minute. He said something positive. We should just end the show here and come back next week.
I'm gonna go play my chameleons.
Right.
Okay. So let's jump to the next thing on my list. Provide behavioral enrichment. I'll throw that one out for discussion. What does that mean?
Okay.
It means a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to. You got people.
No. It does.
You're like a DIY guy.
Sorry,
it
has to. In order to provide the ultimate enrichment, you got to spend some bucks. And then what you got to do is really pay attention to where your animals are from. I don't know. That was my whole, when I got into this, the first time I was doing that, just collecting. And now it's all about the cage and the environment. And if I don't have the money to do it, then I just don't do it. I spent thousands of dollars on just my cages alone. And then a lot of time spent on, doing a lot of equipment, looking up how things work. And then literally going to pictures of Madagascar. And, I don't know. I've spent a lot of time trying to make my cage a mini Madagascar, and the cost wasn't the issue. So, and in the end, I spent a crap load of money, but they turned out rad, and that's how come I know you guys right now, because you saw what I was doing. So, and then my other thing about it is take that information and give it to other people, not sell it to them, not be a gatekeeper. Just go out there and just give it away, and encourage people to try to do the same thing. And that's what I think an advanced keeper is all about. Be positive in the community.
All right.
Be something that people are going to remember on the good note, not on the I'm hiding the information from all of y'all because I'm keeping it for myself. No. And that's what attracted me to Bill. That's what attracted me to Sean. And that's what attracted me to you, Tom. All you guys are givers, and that's what this is all about. We can make money off this, couldn't we? Right? We could be freaking nickel and diming the crap out of the whole public, but we're not. What we're doing is giving it away for free, and the reward like I do, Bill and Sean and Tom. The reward of giving it away to other people, being an advanced keeper and teaching them what you know, is more rewarding than any money they can give you.
All right.
All right, there's my words. I'll sit over here and be quiet now.
You don't have to. Only Bill gets put into the corner.
It's getting crowded in this corner.
All right, Tom, next on the list. We all agree that's positive. That's a good thing.
Well, and I think James took a little bit of this thunder, but studying the animal in situ. So that means in its environment, learning everything about where it lives, the animals and the plants that it interacts with, its physical habitats, its environments. What are the conservation concerns of the animal? How do people interact with that animal in the wild? Actually going to see the animal in the wild.
Huh. That sounds familiar. Jeez.
All right, Tom. Why did you have to bring in
76 days and I'm going to be climbing a tree, Tom?
No, you're not going to be. Those trees are slick as snot. Rainy season. No. No. How could I do
All right.
You are staying on the ground, man.
All right. So don't bring any more highbrow words, though, Tom. We like to keep this, 3rd or 6th grade level.
In the turtle world, we talk a lot about, are people that keep and breed turtles actually making a difference for the future of a species? And I think that's a very hard argument to make. But the term that we use is ex situ conservation in the plant world. So that's why I use that word. In situ is conserving an animal where it lives in its native habitat. Ex situ, away from, is conserving an animal away from its habitat.
All right. No
right.
trees, James.
My hands on my stuff.
All right. All right.
But, some advanced keeping to me is using your knowledge and skills that you've gained to somehow benefit that animal in the wild as well.
Okay. I can agree. Anyone say no? All right. What's the next item on your list?
Just got real serious right there for a minute.
Right.
Man.
I think
that's why I'm moving the list along. Let's move along on that list. I saw that list. It looks like 10 items or whatever, but we only got like 45 minutes.
No, this one's gonna. This is actually the last thing I have on my list, and I myself don't do this with reptiles.
I agree, Chris.
But I wrote cohabitation. Keeping animals together, be it the same species or perhaps a community of reptiles / amphibians. For me, that is like the ultimate keeping in the reptile world. And you see this a lot at zoos, and they are able to do it, but they're professional.
See, I'm being quiet, Bill. Do you see me?
So
I don't know that zoos do very well in chameleons. I have yet to see a zoo that did well in a chameleon, but there you go.
And so how can we as private keepers bridge that gap and get the private knowledge that we've obtained in the private sector back to that community? Most zoo people see us as like just not relevant at all. And then we're looking at husbandry in zoos potentially as needs improvement.
Bill's like a ventriloquist. He's over there typing and you can't even tell.
I think that could be a whole show, though.
You've silenced
We've done
Bill,
shows about
Sean.
how to
You've silenced Bill. No. Let's just talk. Let's put bets on how many bones James is going to break in Madagascar.
We have to do an over under. What's the number we're going to use?
Yeah.
I think
Kaiser
six.
Permanente in Madagascar. Can you look that up for me, Bill?
Yeah, 1.5,
Yeah, just looked
and
it
I'll
up.
take the over.
0.
5? Okay. 5 over or
point.
under?
1.5.
1.5?
I'll take the over, which means I think he's going to break at least 2.
Oh, I know, but that's not enough.
I'm just going to
You
bring
break a
zip
foot
ties
or
so
a
we can
hand,
make the
there's so many
split.
Duct
bones
tape.
in there.
Bring duct tape.
Everyone put in the chat how many bones do you think James will break in Madagascar?
0 bones broken. Oh, no. Yes.
Boy.
No, I mean,
I think that-
I'll shout out the Columbus Zoo for cohabitation. I am good. I'm a colleague with one of their their head reptile keeper, and they're doing some really cool things. Like, yeah, they're not from the same part of Africa, but they're the same habitat, temperature regimes. Pancake tortoises and ball pythons together in the same enclosure. It works, and it's just a really, really cool and engaging exhibit. Recently, I've gotten into the fish world. Fish keeping is all about creating community of animals, right? And some don't work with others, but that's what you do in the fish world, right? So maybe the ultimate is creating enclosures where you actually have a community of reptiles, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Just throwing that out for discussion.
All right. I think that would take 2 or 3 shows. So we're going to move on.
I've made a lot of mistakes doing cohabitations. I started out in fish. That was my first thing. And we used to build our own tanks. And then I got piranhas and arowanas and Oscars. And those fish don't do very well with anybody else. So I kind of learned in the beginning that cohabitating is kind of like, it can be dangerous. And then I got into chameleons, and I've told this story a few times. I had a beautiful panther, and I was at the store one day, and there was just an amazing looking day gecko, and I said, hey, what was it, $35? I'm snagging that sucker. I'm going to put them right in there. They'll cohabitate. It'll be awesome. I'll have a gecko and a chameleon. Put the gecko in the tank. It was like 13.5 seconds when that chameleon snatched that gecko and ate it. So it was a $35 mistake.
It was a $35 lunch.
Yeah. I learned a long time ago, I ain't cohabitating nothing. I can't put my donkeys with my goats. They'll kill each other. Can't put the donkeys with the turtles. Can't do that. Goats and the turtles, that doesn't work very well either. So the turtles got their own pen. The goats have their own pen. The donkeys have their own run. Sometimes I can't even cohabitate with my wife. Did I say that out loud? Sorry.
I'm going to have to take this one down.
Sorry, I take that back. Retract. Edit.
Hey, interpersonal, like work, family, it's all hard.
But James, this is live, my friend.
Mikey,
I forgot.
Mikey Ben.
At least it's only on YouTube and not Facebook anymore. So there we go.
Man, that's it.
So Mikey Ben put in a really good comment. He says, that's why greenhouses are becoming popular space to cohab reptiles, but much more work. And so I don't remember the person that's doing it, but he was interviewed by Dylan Perrin for the Animals at Home podcast. He's created this relatively small greenhouse that's, I don't know, maybe 15 by 15, where he's essentially created this tropical rainforest ecosystem full of different lizards and snakes and frogs. And at where I work, the Cleveland Botanical Garden, we have a Costa Rica biome where we have ducks and turtles and lots of different bird species cohabit. So that's why I bring it up for discussion. A life exotic. Thanks.
Okay, there we go.
And it's really, really interesting. Big space. I think that's key.
Okay, that's cool. All right, what's else on your list? We got to get through.
We went through the list.
Yeah,
So
that's great because we hit 40 minutes. So let's go and let's summarize. We'll start with Bill. We'll let Bill start.
Am I allowed? I'm given speaking privileges again.
I'm gonna have to talk him to be on next week's show, but okay, go ahead.
All right. So what's the question? Where are the guardrails?
There's no guardrails. It's just summary of today's events. What other than I shut you down quickly because you were getting us all depressed and we're all gonna cut our wrists. So there you go.
I think as you start to getting into the advanced, when you start thinking about the larger picture, and instead of figuring out how do I breed this animal or do whatever with this animal, you're looking at what can I do for the community, and whether that is conservation minded, whether maybe conservation, what we can do. Sometimes you look at the world out there and you say, what can I do? Is there really anything I can do, or am I just fooling myself? All right, I'm not going down a downward spiral here, but really, what can I do? We talk about how we're going to help the animals in the wild, and what really are we doing that helps them? And perhaps the most that we're doing is exposing other people to the beauty of these animals, and that has a ripple effect to the more people who appreciate these animals. The more people will know that these animals exist, the more the general community appreciates these animals and cares if they live or die. And so, I mean, I keep saying on the chameleon community, how many people knew where Madagascar was before they got chameleons? How many people knew that it was bleeding into the ocean before they got chameleons? And it is when people get exposed to chameleons that they start to find out and they start to care. And that may be the biggest effect we can have on the wild, is letting other people know that it exists in a way different than, okay, everything is burning and global warming and such.
All right.
We were so positive for like 39 seconds of that comment, and then the end, boom, just kick them off the cliff.
I'm going to have to mute him at this point. James, you want to bring us back to positivity?
Yeah, my whole thing is I don't have the influence that you guys have, especially Sean and Bill. You guys are way, way out there when it comes to the media influence. I just want to be a positive and helpful character that never has anything negative to say. And I think that's the only way that's my contribution as a keeper, is to make sure that people are just positive about everything and always go in and try to defend the ones that are getting attacked. Even if it's something stupid they're being attacked for, show them that it's not all of us that are like that. And that's where I come in. And then, of course, what I do with my cages and my animals. But I keep a lot of that stuff to a minimum. Everybody's given an answer. There's no point in being another guy that tells you how to, keep your humidity and your light levels. I just send them to Bill for that. What I'm there for is to say, hey, this is how you can fix your cage. This is how you can do your fogging, things that people don't talk about. That on top of just being positive. Don't ever say anything mean. And I think that helps everything that you guys are doing. And that's all I'm trying to do is push people into that. And then I send them to you guys and let you deal with the drama.
All right. Great. Tom, final words.
Yeah, for me, it's just 5 years ago, I started working with hinchback tortoises. I had one that I had for 25 years, and I had always wanted to breed them. And just working with an animal that really nobody else worked with, and finding these survivor animals that had been in captivity for over 20 years, in many cases, bringing them together, creating what we call assurance colonies to just make sure we have this species here in the U.S. That's what I try to do and spread the love about hingeback tortoises. And this is the first year that I was able to give I'd given some of my offspring, and I had 2 people hatch eggs from their female who I had given a male to. So for me, that was success.
Great. All right. I'm going to say the final word. I'm just going to say I could do a whole podcast on what I've done and where I've at, but I'm sure Bill's done 10 or 20 or 300. But I thank all of you for being here and talking and all the fun we had. I hope everyone stays positive, and I'm not picking on Bill. And
yeah, you are.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's people need that type of entertainment these days, because that's the way the world works. But thank you all for being here this week, and we'll be back next week. We'll figure it out before we get there. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.